Kris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon, and then I post these up to social media. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. The views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other therapist for that matter. Boom, shakalaka, done. I'd like to thank my sponsor, BetterHelp, BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/Kris Godinez. They're an online therapy company. They are international. They are helping lots of people. They are affordable, and they have been getting really, really great feedback from the people using it. So thank you, BetterHelp.com/Kris Godinez. Okay, diving into today's questions. Hold on un momento. All right, I am a therapist. Can you provide resources I can use with children when the parent is being alienated? So I want you to realize I don't work with kids. I work exclusively with adults. But in doing some research, there are several books out there. One is called Our Family Broke, Parental Alienation, the children's book, Friendly Otters with Real Problems. And the other one is called Popper's Lost 10 Years. But I would recommend you read it first to make sure it is appropriate. The other one is called You're Not Crazy, Overcoming Parent-Child Alienation. Another one is called Getting Through My Parents' Divorce, a workbook for children. So all I did was go online and I typed in books for children on parental alienation, and this popped up. It's all on Amazon. So it's Our Family Broke, Parental Alienation, the children's book, Friendly Otters with Real Problems. Popper's 10 Lost Years, Parental Alienation children's book, How It Feels to Be an Alienated Parent. But again, read them and make sure that they're appropriate. You're Not Crazy, Overcoming Parent-Child Alienation. Getting Through My Parents' Divorce, a workbook for children. So that's what I would recommend. And when you are working with kids, what you want to do is when they come to you and they say, oh, I hate my mom, I hate my dad, whatever parent is being alienated, get them thinking. It's like, well, but why? What's going on? And a lot of times, if they're being alienated, if they're like being manipulated by the other parent, they're not going to be able to answer. They won't have a solid answer. And so that's why you want to prod a little bit. It's like, well, what suddenly caused this? What's going on? Or who told you to hate them? That's point blank. There you go. But if you ask them to give examples, so when somebody is being manipulated, they've got so much cognitive dissonance going on, they're not going to be able to give you solid examples of why they hate somebody. Well, I just hate them. That's not really a reason. Something must have happened, or somebody told you to hate them, because we just don't hate for no reason, and get them thinking about, well, what is this about? Who taught you? This needs to be taught. This is not something that you just suddenly come up with on your own when the relationship has been good. So in working with children, it's really important to not sugarcoat, but also don't overload them with stuff that they're not cognitively able to handle. You know what I'm saying? But you also want to make sure that you are addressing what's going on. Well, do you really hate your mom or dad? Is that really your thought? Is that true? Is that really true for you? When you really ask yourself, you look in the mirror and you ask yourself, is that really true? Now, in some cases, it may be true. It may not be a parental alienation situation. It may be that they are angry at the abuser. And you've got to suss that out. It's like, is this alienation, or is this really the kid being angry at the abuser? So it's usually the older ones that are able to kind of express that particular thing. So, but yeah, generally if a kid is being manipulated and you ask them to give you examples, they're not going to be able to. And there's your huge clue that they're being manipulated, because there's no example. There's no reason, So, and I would read any of those books ahead of time to kind of make sure that they are appropriate. Now, I read some of the reviews, and some people loved them, and other people were like, oh, it's too dark, and they gave away the gender of the alienator, and that's not my situation. And so, you really got to read your stuff, see what you think. There's not a lot of books out there on it, because it's not in the DSM-5, we are limited in how to talk about it. And working with kids is a specialty. It really is. I like working with adults because adults have the power to make things change. Kids generally don't, and they are at the mercy of whoever the abuser is. So if you really start working on the alienation part and they really start getting that they're being alienated, oh boy howdy, I can guarantee you that abuser is going to start interfering in the therapy relationship. So just be prepared. I'm not saying stop. I'm not saying don't teach them. I'm just saying be aware, that the abuser is going to do everything they can to stop that kid from figuring out their game. So you want to talk about normalization. You want to talk about what's normal, what's healthy, really what's healthy. Hate is not a healthy situation ever. Really, it's like, okay, hate's a pretty strong word. What happened? What's the example you can give me as to why you hate them? Well, I don't know. I just hate them. Okay. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So you want to start, getting them thinking. It's like, did you hate them before the divorce? No. Okay, so what changed? So you gotta ask the hard questions, and it's okay. You want to give them permission. It's okay to love both your parents. It's okay. Here's the deal. The kid is still going to love the abuser for many reasons. One, it's their parent, okay? And we do love our parents even if they're abusive. It's like when I was a little kid, I loved my dad. I did, until I started realizing he was bat shimomo crazy. And then it was like, holy cow. But, as a little kid, didn't have the cognitive discernment, didn't understand what was going on. I loved my dad, and on some level, I guess I still do on some level. But you start talking to the kids about normal, healthy. So what is a healthy divorce? That's a good way to go. It's like, let's talk about what a healthy divorce is. Healthy divorce is when the parents leave the adult stuff with the adults, because oftentimes the abuser will use the kid as a therapist, which is so damaging. Or they will, try to use the kid to relay messages. Well, you tell your father or mother I said blah, 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 blah. That's not the kid's job. So it's helping the kid learn boundaries, even with an abuser. And it's helping the kid know what is their responsibility and what is not their responsibility. And helping them understand that you don't have to agree with everything that this parent is saying about the other parent. Now, you may have to, in order to get along, while you're with them, but you don't have to believe it if you don't want to, So it is complicated. And this is why I don't work with children. So, because it is complicated and because there is no legal backing that parental alienation is abuse, we have very little resources and we have very little leeway in what we can say and what we can't say. So, we can't just come straight out and be like, this is abusive, which it is, but what we can do, though, is we can say, well, let's look at how a healthy divorce is. And then you explain a healthy divorce, age appropriate, and it depends on the age level of the kids. How you talk to a 4-year-old is going to be very different than how you talk to a 14-year-old. And you can say more to the older children than you can to the 4-year-old. So, but you let them know that healthy is where everybody plays nice, gets along, and is looking out for each other in a good way and not bad-mouthing each other ever, and not screaming at each other in front of the kids kind of thing. So it's going to be age appropriate, and you talk about what's healthy. You talk about what a healthy divorce looks like. You talk about what healthy parenting looks like. So what you're going to do is contrast and compare. Now, you're not going to be like, well, here's a healthy one and here's your family. But what you're going to be like is, here's what a healthy divorce looks like. Here's what a healthy family looks like. And then you let them start percolating like a coffee percolator and start going, wait a minute, that's not what this family is like. See where I'm going with that? So you're planting the seeds. It's planting the seeds, planting the seeds, planting the seeds. So you want to get them to, excuse me, contrast and compare. You want to get them to start seeing that how this is going down with either mom or dad, whoever the aggressor is, whoever the abuser is, whoever the alienator is, that this is not normal and that it's okay to love both parents. You may love one more than the other, and that's okay, you know? So you normalize loving both parents, and you do the contrast and compare with how dysfunctional it is, in that here's what's healthy. Healthy parents communicate with each other. Healthy parents support each other. Healthy parents never badmouth each other. And you can say that, because then they fill in the blanks and go, oh, well, mom or dad, whoever the aggressor is, they're not healthy. Now, may they run back to that parent and say, oh, well, my therapist said this, that, and the other thing? Yeah, they might. Kids are not real good about, understanding that the parent is not going to be receptive to this. This is the big issue in dealing with children, is that children want the parent to be healthy and they want them to be normal. And so they will oftentimes go to the parent and say, well, Miss So-and-so said that you're not healthy because it did it. They'll say that you said it, that they're not healthy, because they're wanting to, again, wake up the parent so that the parent becomes the parent they wanted and needed. So you're going to have the abuser interfering in your therapy, and you can only do so much. They may come in and yank them out after you've done the whole contrast and compare. They very well may, but hopefully you will have planted some seeds. And that's really what it's all about. As long as, and this goes for any therapy, whether it's an adult or whether it's a kid, as long as the abuser is in their lives, the best you can do, the best you can hope for, is to plant seeds, plant seeds, plant seeds, plant seeds, and let them germinate, water them when you can. And if they get ripped away from therapy because of the abuser, hopefully those seeds will start growing and they'll be able to reflect upon them at a later date. And that often happens. So anyway, that's that. I don't work with kids, so check out those books. Make sure they're what you want. Like I said, some people really love those books. Other people were like, oh, hell no. So read them yourself. See if this is appropriate. A better thing, I think, than books, the books would be more for like the adults, I think. A better thing than books would be contrast and compare. Here's what healthy people do in a divorce. Here's what healthy parents do in a divorce. And you start doing the contrast and compare, not by going, oh, here's healthy and here's your mom or dad, but, here's healthy. And then let them start making the connection. So anyway, there is that. All right, guys. I will talk to you again on Wednesday. On Sunday, we're going to talk about communal narcissists and cults and religiosity and how they use that to abuse. So all right, my loves, you guys go have a great week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.